Hello everybody, Remrov here. I'm a classic artist who makes these videos to educate about autism and to build a bridge in between autistic and neurotypical worlds, and I hope to be a voice for non-verbal people with autism. In this video I want to talk more about autism and communication. And then I mean verbal communication. I'm gonna make a totally separate video about non-verbal communication and body language, because that's a total different story. Many autistic kids and adults, they find communication and language very, very difficult. There are many autistic kids and adults who are non-verbal, but it doesn't mean that the autistic kids and adults who are verbal, that they don't find communication difficult. Often they find it extremely difficult, and it really takes a lot out of them because it comes so naturally to them. There are a few causes of that can make communication so difficult, which are sensory issues and also the processing of all sensory input of information. Having a conversation can be broken down into several parts. The listening part of it, listening to somebody telling a story and responding to that story. And then you also have the initiating part of it, telling a story yourself. So I'm going to do this video in a few different parts, in two different parts. In the first part I will be talking about the listening and the responding, and then in the second part I will be talking about initiating to talk and telling a story yourself, and also about a few different kinds of communicating, and I will also give a bit of advice in the second part of this. So first I will start about the listening part of a conversation. A conversation in general can totally drain me. It doesn't come naturally to me at all to talk and to have a conversation. And listening to somebody can really take a lot out of me also. Often when you're having a conversation, there are a lot of other noises outside, and so it's very difficult to filter out somebody's voice, which is the sensory issue part of it. But even if it's completely quiet around, I still find it very difficult to follow somebody's story. You can see a story as a puzzle. A story is a group of sentences, and a sentence is a group of words. And when somebody tells me a sentence, it feels like somebody just throws a handful of puzzle pieces at me, and I have to use all those puzzle pieces and turn it into a meaningful picture so that I can understand it. So I need all those words in that sentence to make something meaningful out of it. So that takes time to process just a sentence. And besides that, often words have multiple meanings, and then it's not always easy to figure out which meaning is meant by that person. Besides that, I'm also I think in pictures. I'm a picture thinking, so a thinker. So I have to visualize every single word, and that's it takes some time to do that. When something is explained in words, it's just a lot more difficult for me than if something is explained in pictures. And then you can imagine the longer the sentence is, the more puzzle pieces you have, the more words, and the longer it takes to process it and to make something meaningful out of it. People often talk quite fast, and by the time I have processed their first sentence, they already started their second or their third sentence. So then it becomes a complete chaos in my mind, and I just can't make sense out of their story anymore. People also use a lot of sayings and metaphors and things that you're not supposed to take literally, but almost every autistic person takes language extremely literally. So it is extremely confusing when somebody uses a lot of sayings and metaphors. Then, when somebody does that during a conversation, I just miss the following sentences. It confuses me so much that I just miss everything what is said after that, and it just stagnates the whole process of processing the information. Now a bit more about responding to something a person just said, which doesn't come naturally to me at all either. It also takes a lot out of me. To find words to respond, I really have to dig deep inside of myself to find words, and then I have to go over those words and calculate in my mind over and over, is this the right word? Is this how I express myself? And is it the right way to express myself? And you can imagine that it's even more difficult to respond if I haven't followed somebody's story, if you don't understand what somebody has said, how do you respond? So that makes it even more difficult, obviously. Often when I respond to somebody's story, I say something that's quite general, something that you can use as a response to many things that is said by somebody. I memorized certain sentences. I do this because then I save myself time. I give myself some extra time to think about something more specific to say. And besides that, sometimes I just don't know what to say. So then at least I've said something. And I also often repeat a certain response. Like when somebody gives me an idea, I say a few times, wow, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea. And I do that because I don't want to have an awkward silence, or I really want to give that person the feeling that I care about what he just said. So, and if I only say, oh, that's a good idea, and that's it, then it doesn't feel good. I have the feeling that that person is going to think that I don't care, or that I didn't understand what he said or something. So this was the first part. I hope you enjoyed it. And like I said, in my second part I will talk about telling a story, and about different kinds of communication, and I will give advice. So keep track of it. It will come out in about a week. And you can subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to stay updated about my new videos, my latest videos. And you can consider to become my patron on Patreon. For $1 a month you can support me with this project, and you can watch some patron only material, which is quite interesting as well. Pilaf and I wish you a very nice day, and we hope to see you with our next video again. Bye!